Some crochet items instantly look outdated, and it's usually not for the reasons we think. Hi, I'm Rosanna from Moara Crochet, and today I'm going to be giving you a breakdown of what I've learned over the last 10 years of crocheting. So when I first started crocheting, I would see a really beautiful item and go, I really want to make that. And I would buy the yarn, I'd invest my time, and I would sit and make this item I'm dreaming of that I'm going to use on the beach or I'm going to use on my holiday. And I would work through this pattern and be really excited about the end result. And then when I finished the pattern and I'd finished my item of clothing, I put it on and I wasn't 100% happy. And I'm going to show you one of the designs that I used to wear here. And as you can see from my face, I'm not really happy with the design. I'm a bit disappointed. And it started to make me think, why am I not happy with this design? The design was beautiful. The pattern was amazing. But why didn't it sit well with me? And that's what I'm going to discuss with you today on how we should approach patterns and designs to make an item that will work for you. So first of all, let's talk about crochet. Now, crochet is a form of slow fashion. We're creating something by our hand, stitch by stitch, to create a handmade item specially for us. Now, when we create these items, I think we should think about how it's going to be for us, how it's going to work in our wardrobe. And one of the things I did learn over time is don't always follow trends. You know, when you see these patterns, you go, oh, everybody's wearing it, everybody's got one of these, I'm going to make one. For example, this is a bikini that went crazy about 5-6 years ago, maybe a little bit longer now. And I made this bikini because we can't get it in Brazil, so I made it myself. And here's a picture of it now. And I thought, this is really, really beautiful. But then I made it. It didn't really fit very well. And after a year, no one was wearing these bikinis anymore. So it just became an item in my drawer that I never used. So from that experience, I learned to not always make things on trend. I'm trying to make something handmade with slow fashion. I need to make something that is true for me. Now, if this is something you're going to wear all the time and you know you're going to wear it over and over again, of course, go for it. But if you're just making something to be on trend, maybe that's not the most sustainable way of doing crochet. Now, let's go back to the first top that I showed you. There are a few points on this, which I'm guessing many of you can already see. This top was one way too big in some areas. It was too long. The sleeves were really unstructured. So what I learned from this is to find patterns which have structure for you, for your body. And the easiest way I found how to do this for me was that I went into my wardrobe, had a look in my wardrobe. What are the styles of clothes that I always go for? And I laid my tops on my bed and started to notice there was a certain style that I always went for. And why? Because those are the styles that I feel comfortable in. Those are the styles that make me feel good. And for me, it tends to be a V-neck. I feel better when I'm not got anything right up here. I feel like I'm choking. So I decided, okay, if that's what I wear day by day, then I should incorporate this into my crochet items that I'm going to make. Replicate what I would wear day by day into items through crochet that I know I'm going to go for time after time after time. I also started to look at the structure of the tops that I looked at, that I have in my wardrobe. And one of the things I noticed is that I like either two styles, loose, like a boxy style, so it's got a bit of movement, or I like fitted with little details. So then I look for these details into crochet patterns, and then I knew that when I finish that item, it's going to be an item that I'm going to wear time and time again. The third thing to think about when you're making your crochet item is what type of yarn are you using? We've all done this. You get so excited about a project, go and buy the yarn, just start. You've got to engage, it's fine. And then when you make the item, it's not quite right. Now, I did this last year and I've been crocheting a long time now, and I've made many items, but I got so excited about trying this new yarn. It was from Brazil, it was local, it was with a new fiber I didn't know. So I bought all this yarn online. I had never met this yarn before. I bought it all, it arrived, and I started crocheting. And I made this beautiful cardigan, a Kiara cardigan, and it was beautiful, the stitch definition, but one problem. It was so heavy that I didn't wear it because of the weight, and also because I wanted this to be more for a autumn project. So an item that I'm going to wear in transitional weather. Even though it's quite open with a lacy design similar to this, my other version, which I created in cotton, actually kept me warm. But because this item had been made with a cotton and I think an aloe vera mix, it was actually really cold to wear. One, because of the fiber, and two, because it's got a lot of lace design. But on the other side, it was too heavy to wear in the summer. So it really made me think that I've made the wrong yarn choice. So the other thing that is important to think about when you're making the design or making an item is what type of yarn you're using, when are the seasons you want to use it, how do you want the yarn to fall. For example, I made this in linen. It's a linen and cotton mix, and this is designed for transitional, for those warmer days. It can be layered, and I wanted an item which was very flowing. So I did my gauge swatch. I did one in cotton and I did one in linen, and the movement from the linen swatch was the type of fluidity that I wanted, whereas the cotton was a bit too stiff. So when you're making your designs, take the time to make quite a big gauge swatch, give it a wash, see how it moves, place it on your skin, see if that is the item, that is how you want your finished top to be, because you don't want to invest all your time to find that the item is actually a bit too stiff or a bit too heavy, and then all your time and money and yarn is invested in something that you're not actually going to wear. The final point, the next point I want to talk about is the point that makes the difference between an item looking handmade and looking professional, and also making it last, and that is the finishing details. When you finish your item, the finishing details are as important as actually crocheting. Why? Because when you weave in your ends, those are the points that are going to secure your item. I remember when I first started crocheting, I was so excited and I wanted to make this little child top, and it was a granny square top, and it had sleeves and a little button here, and it was really, really cute. But I didn't want to weave in my ends. I was in a rush to finish. I didn't want to spend my time doing these finishing points. So what I did is I actually did a little knot and just weaved in about that much. What happened? I washed the item. I blocked the item and it came apart, because I hadn't spent the time making sure my ends were woven in, my knots were secure. Also around the neck, I had here on the edging being too fast because I wanted to get the item done, and it actually became way too tight. It would have been no use for any child to wear, because it would have been too tight to put on here, and even with washing and blocking, it was still stiff. So taking the time to do your edgings, to weave in your ends, to make those little finishing points of to make an invisible seam make the difference on an item. One, it's going to make it more professional and you're going to be prouder to wear it, and people are going to ask, where did you get that from? Did you make that yourself? And two, it will make your item last longer. So give that little extra few minutes to finish your item. So my little points from this video is, when you are about to make an item, think about, is this what I'm going to wear? Is this a type of style that I would like to wear? Is it a color that I will keep going back to? Is this an item on trend, or will I wear this over and over again? And are the fibers the right fibers for the type of item I am making? Will it wash well? Will it hang well? Will it be right for the season I want? And then finally, take the time to do your finishing. It really makes a difference, and it will make your item last longer. You will have an item that you will wear over and over again for years. I've definitely made many pieces over the years which I've loved at the moment and then discarded afterwards. But now I change my approach to crochet and think these points through to create items that I will wear over and over again. So now when I choose a pattern, I always ask myself, is this an item I will wear in a year? And that's now my motto. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next crochet talk. Bye!